Welcome to Digital Space Place, where we explore the world of digital software and the tools used to navigate their unique platforms. Thank you for joining today's tutorial, and if you find it helpful, hit the like button down below. And to stay up to date on new videos I post, please hit the subscribe button. And without further ado, let's get into it. Hey guys, welcome back. In today's tutorial, we are going to go over how you guys go about creating a basic wall in Revit. So what you guys want to do starting off is you want to go up to your architecture tab. Once you guys are in your architecture tab, you want to go over to your wall tool. So a few things before you guys actually click on that wall tool is you guys will notice that it has a black flyout right underneath the word, which indicates that there are additional options that you guys have to choose from in how you guys want to create that wall. So if we click on that flyout, you guys will see that there are three options available to us. You guys have the option to do architectural, structural, or by face. You guys will normally start off with wall architectural. That will be your basic wall starting off. Another thing to note about actually clicking on your tool is if you guys were to just go up to your menu bar and select this tool, it will default to whatever the first option is on that flyout menu. So our first option is wall architectural, which again is going to be the basic wall that we start with. So even if we were to just click, you guys will still get the correct option. So I'm going to go ahead and click once on my wall tool. Once I click on my wall tool, you guys are going to notice a few things happen. So the first thing is your menu at the top will completely change. That's one indicator that you guys are actually in a tool. You guys will also notice that it also gives you guys this secondary menu underneath your main menu here, and we'll get to that here in a second on when that comes in. A few things that I like to do before I even get to the model space and start to draft anything is the first thing is making sure that I have my levels set up, and that's a whole nother video that I will create for you guys. But setting up your levels is going to be the best foundation starting off, because you guys are able to add in your preset on what you guys want the height of those walls to be and what you guys want those levels to be. So I always say anytime you guys are starting a new project, you always want to start off with setting up your levels first. And again, if you guys want more information on that, check out the other videos on the channel, and there should be one up there for levels for you guys to go to. Now, before we again start to draft here, there are a few things that we actually want to look at here on our left hand panel here. So the first thing is to make sure that you guys are in the correct level that you want to draft your walls in. So the indicator for that is making sure that whatever level you guys want to create those walls on, that level is actually bolded black, and that's an indication that you guys are on that particular level. So I do want to make my walls on my level 1, so I just want to check underneath my project browser to make sure that level 1 is bolded. So that's the first thing that you guys want to check. The second thing that we want to take a look at is what's happening underneath our properties bar. So the first thing we want to take a look at is what type of wall we are actually creating. So you guys are going to notice here that it reads that right now we're looking to create a basic wall, generic 8 inches. But we also notice that we have a flyout. So again, if you guys click on that flyout, it will bring up some preloaded options that Revit already has available to you guys to use. So there's a bunch of generic wall types. There's a few interior partitions that really give the actual structure of those walls, those that are in the architectural field or the interior design field. These are probably going to be the wall types that you guys use more than anything else on this list. You guys also have the option to select curtain wall here. So just know that you guys have a bunch of options that you can select from. So just starting off, I'm actually going to go ahead and select the generic 5-inch. And all I'm doing is just hovering until I see that highlighted light gray. Once I have it highlighted, I'm just going to click once. And you guys are going to notice that it changes the title here. So that's a way to kind of check to make sure again that you guys have the correct wall type selected. So once I have that wall type selected, I now want to go down here to what and how that wall is actually going to be created in the model space itself. So the first thing you guys want to take a look at is your location line. This is very important with how your dimensions actually pan out for your walls. It's a lot easier once we get to the model space and we start to draft those walls for me to show you guys the different options. So I will circle back, but just for informational purposes right now, you guys will have several different options on how you guys want to choose one wall to connect to the other one. So if you guys keep that in mind, well, how is the next wall that I'm creating connecting to the one that I already have within my model space? It makes it a little bit easier to think about the options that we have available. So to see the options, what you guys want to do is click in the box where it says wall center line. Once you guys click in that box, you guys will see a flyout pop up. Go ahead and click on that flyout, and these will be the options that you guys have as to how you want those walls again to connect to one another. So we can choose to do wall center line. We have an option to do core center line, which really goes into the materials that are in the makeup of the wall, which is again a whole nother video probably, but so I normally don't recommend that you guys start off with the core center line or the core options that are available because then that means that you guys really need to step into what the material of that wall is and the makeup of that wall before you guys can probably make your dimensions correct within the model space. So we have core center line, we have finish face exterior, finish face interior, and what those two options are again is when you guys create one wall, the second wall that you guys create, is it going to snap to that first wall you guys created from the finish face of the wall, the next wall that you guys are creating on the exterior material, or is it going to snap on the interior finish face material? And again, that will become a little bit clearer once we come to the model space. And then we also have core face exterior and core face interior. So I normally say go ahead and start off with finish face interior. Starting off, it's just a little bit easier to work with, as you guys will see when we get to the model space itself. The next two options that you guys want to take a look at here is your base constraint. Your base constraint should 9 times out of 10 be the same level that you guys are looking to build those walls on. So to just kind of cross-reference and check yourself when you guys are doing that, if you guys are again, working in level 1, 9 times out of 10, you want that base constraint to also be level 1, which means that wall is going to start on that level and the height will go up from there. You guys also have the option, so I'm to take a step back, I'm going to leave that at level 1 because that is where I want my base constraint to be. The next option is your base offset. So what this will allow you guys to do is say, hey, I do want that wall to start at level 1, but I do want that wall to have a gap between the floor, let's just say, and the underneath of that wall, right? So if there's some type of example in the field where you actually do need a gap, in the interiors that you guys are creating, then you do have the option to type in what you want that base offset to be. But normally, you guys are not going to have a base offset when you guys are inputting your walls. So normally, this will stay at 0 feet, 0 inches. The next thing that's really important when you guys are doing your walls is what is happening with your top constraint. So right now we have the top constraint going up to level 2. So for me, level 2 is set at 10 feet. And again, this is why it's important, if you guys do already have that information on what those level heights need to be, if you guys go ahead and set those up beforehand, before you guys start to model, it's easier because you guys are able to just come in here and set those top constraints to this level, and it will set that dimension for you. So again, similar to what you guys saw up here with the location line, to change that, you guys are able to click in that box. It will bring up the flyout. If you guys click on the flyout, you guys will see the other options that you guys have available. Now, you do have the option, if you guys do not set up your levels beforehand, or you guys do not want to set your walls at the levels that are already pre-lease set when you guys open up a new project, you guys can also choose to do unconnected. So if I was to click on unconnected, you guys see I now am able to type in what I want that height to be. So if you guys are choosing one of the levels, it will gray out this box, and you guys are not able to change what this dimension is, because again, it's going off of what you guys have already previously set up. But if you guys have not set that up, you're just going in here, you're playing around, kind of getting a feel for the model space, it is completely okay to just have it at unconnected and just simply click in that box one time. It will highlight that dimension, and you can type in on your keyboard what you guys want that dimension to be. So let's just say I wanted that to go to 15 feet. I can type that in, hit enter, and now those walls will be set at that 15 feet. I'm going to go ahead and take this back to go up to level 2. I did just want to show you guys that as an example. And I'm going to go back to my 10 feet. And again, similar to what you guys saw with the base constraint, you guys also have the option to change the top offset as well, which means that if we're at 10 feet and we choose to offset that top, we can take it from the upside of that wall to whatever that ceiling height is. We can offset it if we need to, let's just say 1 foot, 2 feet, and that will change what that wall looks like within the 3D, where you guys are able to see that gap that you guys indicated. Normally, again, similar to the base offset, we have the option. Do we use the option a lot of the times? Probably not, unless you guys have some type of special circumstance within your project. So I would go ahead and just leave this at, again, the 0 feet, 0 inches. All right, so now that you guys have set your options underneath your properties, the last two things that you guys want to do, again, before we even do anything within the model space, is go ahead and take a look at your secondary menu that Revit has given you. A lot of the options that you guys have here will already have been set for what you guys have already set in the properties. One thing I do want to take a look at, and I want you guys to know that you have an option, is your chain command on this tool. So what that means is, if you guys have the chain selected, which I do, that means that that tool will not close out. It will continuously make walls until you guys hit escape on your keyboards to come out of that tool, or you guys select modify here at the top. If you guys do not have chain selected, so let's just say I uncheck that, it will only create one wall, and it will come out of that command, right? So it won't continuously make a wall here, keep you in the tool. You're able to continuously go around. So I normally like to keep it selected so I don't have to keep going up and selecting the tool and doing it over again. I like to keep it selected, but again, that's a preference that you guys have. And the last thing that we want to take a look at before we come to the model space is how we're actually drawing that wall itself. So a lot of times when you guys are starting off with just the basic wall, you guys are going to start off with your just basic line tool, which means that it creates straight lines however you guys are creating it, whether that's an angle, whether that's just straight across, parallel, or perpendicular. That will be how you guys what option you guys want to choose. You guys also have several other options that are available to you. The rectangle, excuse me, option is a really good option if you guys are just trying to do just a basic room. You have your dimensions set for it. This is a really good option. It creates all four of the walls in 2 clicks, and you guys have it in the model space. So I'm going to go ahead and start off with just the basic line tool. So I just want to make sure that that one's selected. How do you guys know that it's selected? It will have kind of like a grayish, a very light gray box around it. I'm hoping that you guys are able to see it on your monitors. But if you guys are in the program, you guys should be able to kind of see that gray haze that's over the option that you guys choose. All right, so now that we have set all of our options, we understand the type of wall we're creating, we're understanding how our walls are connecting to one another by the location line. We have selected to create it on the level 1, and we are taking our walls up to level 2, and we are drawing those with just straight lines. We are now ready to actually draft in the model space. So what we want to do, and one thing that I like to always kind of put out there beginning, is you can create your wall in 2 clicks. So your first click is going to be your anchor click. That means that it is going to set that wall down wherever you click within your model space, and it will hold that wall within that point that you guys clicked at in the model space. So what you guys are going to see me do right now is make my first click. So once I do that, you guys will see that my wall now appears within my model space. You guys will also see that it is not moving from that first click that I selected, right? So what we want to do now is, once we have it anchored within our space, is we want to choose, well, what direction do I want to take that wall in? Am I going 90 degrees up perpendicular? Am I going horizontally across? So you want to put your mouse, again, I have not clicked that second time yet. I'm only trying to find what direction I want my wall to go. And Revit actually gives us a lot of cool options when we're putting our walls in, to make sure that they are going either perfectly vertical or perfectly horizontal. If that is how you guys want to do, we also have the option to do it at an angle. One thing that I do want you guys to do is use the snaps that Revit has available. And what I mean by that is, you want to move your mouse in whatever direction you want to go. So let's just say I want this to go perfectly vertical, and I want to make sure that it is not at a weird angle, that it is not off angled in any type of way. I want to look for that dash line that pops up. That is how I know that I am perfectly vertical or perfectly horizontal. You will also kind of feel your mouse kind of snap within place, right, when you guys are in that model space. If you are trying to do an angle, all you guys have to do is look at what and find which angle you guys are trying to get at as you're kind of just moving your mouse in your model space. Again, I have not clicked a second time yet. So what I want to do now is, again, go the direction that I want to go. So let's just say I want to go perfectly horizontal. I want to go that direction, and there's 2 options that I have to get it to the dimension that I want. So let's just say I want this to be a 20-foot wall. I can either, and all you guys see me doing right now is zooming in with my middle roller on my mouse. So all I'm doing is just moving forward away from me, and I'm moving towards me with my roller to pull back. So that's all you guys see me doing here. So if you guys, again, if I want that to be at 20 feet, I'm going to go in that direction. I can move my mouse until I see that 20 feet come up, and I can click my second time, and that will place my wall perfectly at that 20 feet. I also have the option to start to go in the direction and type in that dimension on my keyboard. But again, you want to make sure that you perfectly have your wall going the direction that you want, that it is not misangled, and you actually see that dashed line before you take your hands off your mouse to type in what you want that dimension to be. So once I actually have that dimension in mind, I'm just typing on my keyboard 20 feet. I'm going to hit enter, and Revit is going to set that wall at 20 feet. Now, this is where you guys see that chain command come into play, and also your location line. So when we were explaining how does your next wall connect to the wall that you guys have already placed, you see that Revit automatically connects my wall from the interior material of that next wall to the interior of the interior finish of the wall I already placed. Right? So we see where it's connecting. Now, if I had that, let's just say on wall center line, you guys would see that it would still make that connection, but this wall would not start at the edge. It would start at the midpoint here and go down, which those that are in the architecture and interior design field know that that can be a problem depending on the dimensions that you guys are trying to put in. And that's why your location line is so important, because if I am planning, let's just say for this next wall to be at, let's just say I needed 20 feet, and I just type in 20 feet, but it's starting at the wrong location line to actually really be 20 feet within the interior of that room, then that's where that location line really comes into play. So what I normally say is start off, kind of get a feel for how you guys are placing your walls based on the location line, see how your dimensions are panning out, if it's meeting the dimensions that you guys are trying to aim for, or if you guys need to make modifications based on what you guys have set your location line for them. So it's going to take a little bit of practice, but that's just kind of an easy way to think about it. Just kind of starting off is how are those walls connecting. And then the second thing that came into play is the chain. So you guys see that if I did not have this chain selected, once I created this first wall, it would not have created the second wall after it. It would have completely came out of that tool. So again, I like to keep chain on, because normally we're creating rooms, right? We're not just creating those singular walls. So we're probably going to need to keep going with the walls that we're creating. So I'm going to go ahead and just set this second wall down. Revit has created that first click for me, right? Kind of in an imaginary way, because it has it selected to chain. So it set that second wall down, and then I just have to make that next click to set it where I want it. So let's just say I want to go 12 feet. I can go ahead and click that time, and it will set that wall down. And I'm going to hit escape on my keyboard. That will bring me out of the creation of the tool, but not the tool itself. So I can still go up here and go back into that wall tool if I wanted to, by just selecting which draw option I wanted. And let's just say I turned off chain just for purpose of example here, and I created that wall. Again, because I did not have chain selected, it did not create and continue to create those walls for me. Now, if I wanted to completely come out of this tool, I can hit escape twice on my keyboard, and that will completely bring me out of that tool. It will bring back up my main menu, and you guys are able to go in and create more fun. So thank you guys for joining me on today's tutorial. Please leave comments down below if you guys have any suggestions, videos that you guys would like to see, and I hope to see you guys on the next tutorial.